Oh my lord. Yep, YouTube drama, everyone. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse every single shitty year. This whole, moist critical and Sneeko thing has honestly just gotten out of hand, and it shows how out of hand YouTube drama has gotten in, the past few years, in, the past decade, or, decades, pretty much. The whole YouTube drama thing wasn't really, a thing until the whole McMangoes is suspended thing, which nowadays it might be considered a joke, and pretty much is nowadays considered a joke, but back then it was considered an act of drama. There were a lot of people making videos on this guy who was basically laughing and talking about McMangoes, who was this guy who did YTPs at the time. But come to think of it, Gen Z humor is really trying to be like YTP, but just failing hugely. It's hugely failing at trying to be YTP. But you get what I mean. YouTube drama back then, there wasn't a whole bunch of people like Blowblacks making a whole bunch of videos on a certain type of drama and just being a drama whore. You didn't have much people even really making videos on drama at all. Long story short, basically there was very rare drama on YouTube, and if there was drama, then it was actually pretty big for its time. I mean, not big to the point where a bunch of people were making videos on it, but still pretty big in the community. Then let's go back to the very shitty year that was 2016 of YouTube. This was the era where things on YouTube really hit the fan. I'm gonna list to you probably 5 or 6 dramas that were happening during that time period of YouTube. Okay, so we had Grade A Under A versus Tyrone Magnus, Keemstar versus Pyrocynical, Keemstar versus pretty much everyone on the platform. So that's 3 at the top of my head. You also had Leafy versus H3H3, which is already 4 now. Then we also had the whole thing with reaction channels versus everyone, so that's 5. Oh, and the whole content cop thing with Leafy and iDubbbz. So, that's basically 6 at the time. How drama went during that whole really shitty time period for YouTube. I mean, you also had things like the adpocalypse and whatever, but I'm not really talking about that. Today, we're just talking about how YouTube drama has just escalated. But basically how it went down was that you would basically have a whole bunch of people talking about a certain person or a certain thing, how everyone from PewDiePie to Merc Music were talking about reaction channels, to how Leafy was basically just talking about someone like H3H3 or Keemstar. You'd basically just have all of that going on. It was essentially just back and forths of videos and maybe someone having a mental breakdown because of Keemstar. That was basically it. I mean, yeah, you also did have some people try and oh, I'm gonna fight you, or I'm gonna fight you too, or whatever, but that was pretty rare compared to a whole lot of other things that were happening at the time, and I'm not counting FouseyTube versus RiceGum. That was staged, everyone knows that. But that's how that whole era of drama basically went down, and now let's get into I want to say 2019-ish, 2019, 2020's style of drama. 2020's YouTube drama has gotten super out of hand, especially during the whole H3H3 and Keemstar thing. But a whole bunch of personal stuff was happening, especially after Ethan dropped his whole content nuke or whatever it was called on Keem, where it was just regurgitating stuff, and then Keem made a response, and then they were threatening to take away each other's sponsors and blah 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 blah. It was just a whole personal shit fest. But if it wasn't like that, then you would also have another alternative, which was YouTube boxing. Now, I've been pretty open, especially on the community tab, about how I don't like YouTube boxing. YouTube boxing is honestly a stain on the platform. 1, it's a horrible way to deal with beef. 2, everyone in there tries to acting professional even though they're hugely egotistical. 0. Oh, and not to mention, it's literally just a huge publicity stunt. There, I finally said it. It's basically just a huge attention stunt on both parties. Plus, it basically makes the sport of boxing look really shitty. It just makes the whole sport of boxing look bad, especially when you have, the whole YouTube boxing thing. Basically, it's shit. It's shit on a plate. That's how I see YouTube boxing. Also, 0, if you want to keep talking about how, oh, I got these boxing skills and all of that, if you just want to keep talking about all that stuff, then dude, at least step in the ring with somebody. Don't be talking shit and then don't step in the ring with a person if you want to be a whole YouTube boxer and stuff. Nah, but 0's gotten hugely egotistical, especially after he started doing that whole, oh, I want to be a YouTube boxer workout type of thing. He basically just wants to be one of those bros. Oh, and then we also have the most recent example, which is Sneeko versus Moist Critical. Yay, the thing that everyone's talking about.
Ah, yeah!
This is like a breaking point in drama of YouTube. Like, this is a breaking point in YouTube drama from, like, where does it start and where does it end? Like, where is the limit to YouTube drama here? Basically, Sneeko was just flashing a gun on stream towards Moist Critical, and honestly, it's just so stupid. It's like, why? Like, good job, Sneeko. You're basically one step closer, not even one step closer. You're basically the Filipino YouTube Vegan Gains now. You're basically just the 2020s version of Vegan Gains. Also, Sneeko's fans are probably going to be, you know, just raiding my comment section, and not to mention, they probably didn't learn anything outside of, hey guys, if, you know, you have beef with someone, if you don't like someone, just act tough and flash your weapon, which is something you should never do, because then you'll get your ass handed to you, or possibly worse. And it's not like Sneeko's fans are ever going to listen, you know, they're just too stupid. But also, in that stream, Sneeko mistook a mag for a clip, and then Moist Critical was, you know, also doing the same, basically correcting him. It's like, guys, where does YouTube drama start and where is the limit? Like, where does it end? Because the thing is here is that now, okay, back then it wasn't really a big issue, all right? It wasn't really that big of an issue, and if it was seen as a huge thing. And nowadays, it's either, you know, you either just settle it in a boxing match, a very shitty boxing match at that just makes the sport look like horrible, it just makes it look like horrible shit, or you just flash a weapon. That's basically the point that we've gotten with YouTube drama. Like, with old YouTube, this wasn't really the case. With 2016, okay, just make a bunch of videos, whatever. Nowadays, it's gotten, like, super out of hand, and now people are just starting to flash weapons at each other. Like, if this also continues, like, I'm pretty sure one of these guys is probably going to get shot. Probably Sneeko. I could see him definitely getting shot. But Sneeko is a psychopath. Like, honestly, Sneeko is pretty much just trying to be Vegan Gains at this point. Either that or he's trying to be really hard. He's trying really hard to be a dead rising psychopath. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Where does the line stop with YouTube drama? How far is it going to go? I mean, we're getting to the point where, again, people are flashing weapons. So how far is it going to go? Oh, and here's a meme about Sneeko, because when you really think about it, he's not even trying to be like Andrew Human Trafficking Tate. If anything, he's trying to be like Vegan Psychopath Gains. Also, I forgot to mention the whole debate thing, which, honestly, it's just so stupid. Like, if anything, I didn't even want to include debates in this video, because the thing is with debates is that they're more like streamer Pokemon battles. Like, Sneeko used red pill bullshit, and Nick Fuentes used Holocaust denying and politics. Both of which are not even super effective. It's basically just a streamer Pokemon battle, and it's just, they're trying way too hard. Like, honestly, I feel like the debates nowadays between streamers are just trying way too hard. Like, I feel as if they just watched, like, political debates between, like, you know, presidential candidates once, and we're like, alright, bet, we'll do this, you know, we'll just do that. They're just trying way too hard to be like that, but not even entertaining. And if anything, again, they're just streamer Pokemon battles. Also, it brought more attention to people like Pat God, which, God, why do people like Pat God? He's not even funny, he's not even entertaining. If anything, he's trying to be like that one kid in class who listened to a rap song once and thinks he's from the rough streets of Dusseldorf. Like, the thing is with Pat God is that all he does is quote-unquote roast weak-ass terminally online people on Discord, if you consider just spouting out a bunch of random gibberish like a brain-damaged homeless guy and trying to act like you're from the streets roasting. Plus, he literally just starts shit for just attention and views, and here's a little thing of advice: never be like Pat God, because if you run into the wrong guy, you're basically just screwed. You're gonna get your ass handed to you if you try some Pat God shit. And also, like, Pat God isn't even really, like, that huge of a debater, and what I mean by that is, he's not really that strong of a debater. And I'll explain why here, because if Pat God went up against Prime Keemstar, or LTG, or Prime Vegan Gains, he's basically like, he's just straight up how he did with that 17-year-old Canadian girl. Also, if you want to learn how to beat people like Pat God in an argument, literally just keep talking over them. That's it. Just keep on talking over them, and eventually they'll just give up. Like, if someone basically talks over Pat God, if they're like Prime Vegan Gains or LTG, then Pat God is basically screwed. But for one last time, where does this whole YouTube drama shit start and where does it end? Like, there has to be a limit to this shit. Because there's no way that there's just going to be casually flashing weapons or anything. Like, that's just why. But hey, who knows, it's YouTube drama. This shit evolves like pretty bad. Like this shit evolves like a deformed Pokemon, so who knows.